the deer's feet, and he will make me walk on higher mountains. A highway shall be there.
Welcome to another episode of Reina Speaks. What it means in English is this is the time for the work, the time to harness our strengths and to make sure that we are becoming the best versions of ourselves. Good evening and welcome to everybody from Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, United Kingdom, United States of America, Kenya. We have so many people watching from all over the world and want to say a big thank you to you for taking time off your busy schedules as usual on Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on Facebook, Palm TV in the UK, YouTube, Twitter, name it, all the social medias you can think about, and to join us. God bless you so much, and we are going to get right to it. Last week, we started talking about harnessing your strengths, and we said so many things. I'm going to brush over them And then we'll go to the second part of harnessing our strengths today, so that you will understand what it means to pick out the best version of you and give it to us, so that we can see all that is good in you. All right. We first said that strength is defined as the character or the skills that are positive in your life. So character part of you that are positive, skills that are positive, those are known as strengths. We gave example of strengths as enthusiasm, trustworthiness, creativity, discipline, patience, respectfulness, determination, dedication, honesty, versatility, loyalty. I mean, I remember saying that when we ask somebody a strength in during interview, say cooking. It is not a strength. I mean, it can be found among one of these things that we said, but it is not a strength for the purpose for which we are talking about, if I may say that. So we talked about each of these ones, and then we came to, I said that one of the simplest way to know what your strength is to know what your temperament is. It is also one of the quickest ways to know what your weakness is. So the quickest way to know your strengths and your weaknesses is knowing what your temperament is. Are you a sanguine? Are you choleric? Are you phlegmatic? Are you melancholy? Those ones already have their strengths and their weaknesses. So that is the best place to start, to know what your strength is and to know what your weakness is. We also went ahead and I said that you should ask yourself these questions. They help you to assess yourself and then to know what really you can do. The first question was, what do I do with ease? The second was, what do I do with passion? The next was, what are the things that when I see somebody not doing well or doing them right, I get upset about or over? And the next was, do I admire people with the same traits? The next was, do I enjoy doing it? Once you've asked yourself these questions, coupled with knowing what your temperament is, it's very easy to know what your strengths are. And then we also talked about, how do I harness my strength? So now I know what my strength is, but how do I bring it out so that it can be on top and we can use it for positive things? The first thing we said was that pray about it. Pray about it. God created you, so he knows what is your best strength and he knows how the best version of you can come about. Everything was created with a manual. It is only human beings who have thrown away our own manual. Everything comes with a manual. Everything comes with a manual. When you buy your, even rings, I used to wonder that why do rings come with manuals? Seriously, you've measured your hand already and they've given you the ring, but it comes with, I mean, if you buy it in the correct place, it comes with manuals. I didn't buy mine in the correct place. It didn't come with a manual, if you get what I mean. But the ones I buy over the internet, they have manuals. They have at least a drawing of the ring, what metals it is made from, warranty, all those things are manuals. They tell you how long the ring can last. You see what is the strength of the ring. That's what I'm saying. So once you've prayed about it, you do them repeatedly till they become habits. Then you ask people, what are my best features? When you are with me, what are you more comfortable with me doing? Something like that. Use every opportunity you get to put them in practice, overcome any challenges that arise from them, research on how to be stronger in a particular trait and practice it. And then the last was that use your strengths for good. So I've just brushed over what we did so that you have a fair idea. But to get the nitty-gritty, please refer to previous posts and you'll get all the information you need for the first part. Today we are going to be tackling the second part of harnessing our strength, which is knowing your weakness. To be able to do positive, you must know what you do negatively. So if I am not somebody who likes smiling and I want smiling to become my trait, I have to acknowledge that I don't like smiling. And that way I can put effort into smiling so that it becomes one of the best parts of me. All right. So remember, we are talking about our personalities, us as people, because whatever we do in our bodies, in our lives, whatever we bring ourselves up to is what ultimately affects the rest of the world and affects our life, our decisions, where we go, who we meet, who we associate with, and whether at work we move up or down. All those things are affected by our personal traits, which comes into strengths and weaknesses. So you must know what your weakness is so that you avoid it and then be able to build your strengths, or know your weaknesses so that you can work on them so that they also become strengths. Let's go right ahead. We have weaknesses, and we would call these ones the personal weaknesses. And what we know is that they can be mental, physical, or emotional. Any of these weaknesses. They can be mental, they can be physical, they can be emotional. Meaning it may have to do with your brain, it may have to do with your physique, or it may have to do with your feelings. Any of these can be a weakness. All right, now, most of these weaknesses prevent us from fulfilling our dreams, our goals, and any potential we have in life can easily be marred by these weaknesses we have. And if we don't pay attention to them and work on them, no matter what kind of strengths you have, suddenly your weaknesses can come in and affect the strengths and make it complicated. They can also prevent you from achieving success. You know, you can be on your way to becoming one of the best something, and then one day, one of your weaknesses just shows up. You tell a little lie. You take extra change that was not yours. You burst out in anger. Something that just comes and mars everything that you worked for. So that's why we have to know our weaknesses, so that we can address them and make sure that they are not affecting all that we've done to build our strength and to put them out there. Weaknesses can affect your career, your personal, your social life. That's what I've said. It can be at work that your weakness affects you. It can be you that your weakness affects, and it can even have effect on the people around you such that they do not want to associate with you anymore. And since we don't want that, let's learn how to identify our weaknesses. 10 ways that we can identify our personal weaknesses. And once we identify them, the choice is ours to either decide to suppress them and make them non-existent, or to work on them and then make them become part of our strengths. That choice lies with you. So as we talk about it, make the decision. Would you rather do away with it, or would you rather build on it so that it becomes a strength for you? The first thing we do, or the first way to identify what is a personal weakness, is that you should mind the way you think. Mind the way you think. People do not know it, but our minds are powerful tools. The Bible says that, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed, renewing of your mind. It means that the only way we can see change, the only way we can see a transformation, the only way we can see a turnaround is if you change the way you think. You may have a lot of potential, but your thinking puts you down. You may have a lot of potential, but your thinking makes you think that you don't deserve what you have. You don't deserve to be promoted. You don't deserve to be the best businesswoman. You don't deserve to be the best lady in the workplace, the best guy in the workplace, the best student at school. Your thinking, you must watch it. A thought is an experience that has been conditioned to take place within the mind to respond to stimulus from external and internal sources. What this means is that your thought is something you experience, and it is conditioned. The thoughts you begin to think when you are placed in a certain situation, whether it is from inside or from outside. So let's assume that you just wake up from sleep. You are probably not thinking about food. But once one of your sisters, one of your brothers, your husband, your wife, your friends, your roommate comes by with a sandwich, immediately your thoughts begin to process, we are hungry. We are hungry. And once the brain begins to think we are hungry, it affects the whole of the body, begins to look for food, goes to the kitchen, goes to the roadside, begins to prepare something because of the situation that was seen. Your thought processes are, we are hungry. That is why you must watch the way you think. Because the way you think can actually make your weaknesses look so big when actually they are so small, you know. So watch the way you think. Be aware of what you think about. Make a conscious effort to assess what you think about. Make a conscious effort to always see optimism, not pessimism in a situation, if you know what I mean. Let your mind be controlled by you and not your mind controlling you. Let me repeat that. Don't let your mind control you, you control your mind. So you decide what you want to think, you decide what you allow to be thought about, you decide in any situation which place you want to focus on and think about. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. By watching your thoughts, you can actually identify which ones are negative and which are going to pull down your strength and going to magnify your weaknesses. It makes it easier for you to decide, okay, today I'm not thinking about the fact that I don't have money. I'm going to be thinking about the fact that in spite of the fact that I don't have money, I have a brain that can bring up ideas and can help me to make money that I'm looking for. So we will have two people. One is focusing on the fact that they don't have money, and we have another person who is focusing on the fact that I can use this knowledge I have to make money. You see the difference? One is going to be a strength, one is going to be a weakness. So be careful how you think. Watch the way you think, watch the things you think about, watch the things you open yourself to, the situations you open yourself to, so that you do not think negatively. And that is the first way on how you can identify your weakness. The second one is practice self-awareness. What does it mean? It means you know yourself and you know your environment. That's all. Practice knowing you and your reactions in certain environments. You know, if you are able to put these two together, knowing what you would do in this kind of environment, it takes away almost, in fact, I can clearly say that it can erase almost 70% of your weaknesses. Knowing you and knowing how you would behave in a certain environment, in a certain situation, it erases 70% of your trouble. It may seem impossible to separate them, but you will learn about when I say learn about, let me try and put it in a way that we can understand. I know that let me put it practically. I'm on a diet, and I know that if I go to Burger King or KFC, I'll be tempted to have a double whopper. What do I do? At the time that I'm having my diet, my weakness is a double whopper meal. What do? I avoid KFC at all costs. My sisters and brothers, this is not the time to be Superman or Superwoman, Catwoman or Wonder Woman or Thor in this process. You are trying to diet. There is no need for you to be a Burger King, trying to brave it out and tell yourself that if I can sit here and not eat the burger, I would have conquered my weakness. There is no point doing that, my sisters and brothers. You are on a diet. That is not a good place for you to go. Avoid it. You know that when you are out with friends, there's a tendency for you to stay out all night instead of going back to do your assignment. When you have assignments, don't go out. That's what I mean by knowing yourself and knowing your environment and knowing your reaction in environments. We have people who are so easily influenced by friends. I would advise those people to have less friends and to have friends that are good at pushing you, at encouraging you, because you are so affected by what the friends say, because you are so into peer pressure affects you. It would be better for you to pick people who would give you good peer pressure and not bad peer pressure. So it means you know yourself, you know the situation, you know what will happen if you put yourself in that situation. So you make sure that you know you don't put yourself there to tempt yourself. Don't put yourself there to tempt yourself. There are so many examples I can give, you know. So don't put yourself in the situation that tempts you and moves you out of your strength into your weakness. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3 says, take a clear look at the people you relate with generally. All your relationships, not just one. Whether it's a marriage relationship, a friend relationship, colleague relationship, whatever relationship you have, you must take a look at it. So you look at your personal relationships, the friends you have, the people you mingle with. You look at your professional relationships, that is your colleagues, your workplace. And then your social relationships are when you go out, what you do, how you mingle. Look at all these relationships you have. Take an honest look at them and realize that it may be different to separate these 3. And which one is personal, which one is professional, and which one is social. It looks like, because sometimes you have friends from work who are the same people that you socialize with. So it may look like it is separate, but it can be done. And this is how you do it. If one is hindering you from achieving what you must, then you have to change that relationship. So let me give you another example. I am at work. I'm supposed to get to work at 6:30. And I have friends at the same workplace who have decided that they will never come at 6:30. They will come at 7:30, or they will come when they please. It's because of that, it is affecting the way you work, because you are not able to start early. And when you're not able to start early, it affects your productivity for the day. Or it is affecting you because that promotion you were due for, every time punctuality comes up, you are among those people who don't get promoted because you are not punctual. Once you realize that that professional relationship is affecting your work, you have to change it. Am I staying out too late? Am I getting too drunk? Should I even be drinking? Am I talking about people, gossiping about people? Any relationship that is not pulling out your strengths, but is rather making you weak and pulling out the negatives in you, it's time for a change. So you must mark and identify those relationships that do not help you and keep those ones that help you. The next point about how or ways in which to identify your weaknesses is get a coach. Get somebody. I always say that you must have somebody you look up to. A mentor, a coach, a big sister, a big brother, a pastor. Somebody must be ahead of you that you are looking up to. Somebody that can gear you towards the right path. Somebody that must scold you if need be, correct you if need be, encourage you, prep you up, hold your hand, give you a shoulder to cry on. You need somebody like that. That person is aware of your strengths. That person is aware of your weaknesses. And their aim is to make sure that your weakness does not overcome your strengths. There are people who've been through things and have been able to overcome their weaknesses and make their strengths stand out. And those are the people you must look for. Either you pay or you don't, whichever one it is, but there must be somebody with you as a coach, a mentor, a leader, some sort of person that is prying you on and helping to identify, no, I don't think you're very good at this. I would rather if you explored this, but this you don't do very well in it, so why not explore this one rather, you know. People who are not afraid to tell us that this is a weakness, get rid of it or sort it out. Everybody needs somebody in their life who is not afraid of them, that tells them as it is. If you do not have one, you are not growing. It may look like you are growing, but I'm telling you, there is no workplace, there is no relationship, whether it's social, professional, personal relationship, where if you are not honest with your weaknesses, you can grow. So get a coach. A coach will give you feedback, a mentor will give you feedback, and provide you support when you need it. If something happens and you are struggling with how to overcome a certain weakness that you have, this person in question can help you to become better at doing it, can give you ways and means to overcome it. You may never know. Sometimes they've even been through the same thing. They're able to tell you how to get out of it and become a better version of yourself. The next point says that keep diaries. Keep diaries of your thoughts and your actions. Today, keep diaries. Diaries seem to be something that we are not very conversant with in Ghana. But I know that in the European countries, children start keeping, I think they call it journaling. They start journaling very early. You'll be surprised to know there was a year I decided to use a diary. And when I go back there and read the things there, I am surprised. You'll be surprised that you have accomplished some and there are some you never did. So keep a diary. Please, your diary does not have to be fancy, look like it came out of gold. No, just a plain old exercise book will do. If you don't have that, just some papers put in a file will do. What you're doing is you're communicating your thoughts and your actions into that diary, into that journal. It makes you keep good record of what has happened in the past, what you said you would do, those things that you should have, that you didn't remember. It will remind you of all those things. It helps you to also see your pattern of thinking. When I look at these things I've written down, and these circumstances I've written down, and these actions I took, what is my vision for the future? What do I hope to achieve? What am I aiming at? What what do I really want? Who really am I? Journaling helps you to do that. It can even trigger certain events and feelings. You're like, oh, I remember when I wrote this. I remember when I wrote this, I had just come from a party. I was very excited and I was very motivated. I had just come from a talk. I had just come from listening to Raina Speaks, and I was excited and I wrote this down. And when the excitement went down, you forgot. But when you read your journal, you see it and you're like, I have to get back to this. It prompts you, it helps you, it encourages you to work on what you need to work on and to improve on what you need to improve on. We are humans. As life goes on, we get tied up with so many things that we may forget some of the things we chose to do. And so a diary, a journal helps us to go back and revisit those things and use them to our advantage. Number 6 in our point says, track what's working and what's not in your life. So keep a tab on yourself. Let me see if I can give a good example. Let's assume that I said, okay, by June this year, I would have learned a skill that has nothing to do with what I already know. Now, once once you say that I would have learned a skill, now you can break it down. So in May, I'm going to go to wherever skill I want to learn, carpentry, welding, hairdressing, whatever, baking. I'm going to find out the prizes. In May 1st week, I'll find out the prizes. In the 2nd week, if I have the money, I'll get everything I need to get. In the 3rd week, I will register. I will start in the 4th week. Hopefully, by the end of June, I would have done it. Keep track. Everything I have said now, when you go to ask at whatever it is, skill you want to learn, wherever place it is, you tick. I've already asked. When you are able to pay the money and buy whatever you need, you tick. I've done that. When you are able to start learning, tick. What you're doing is you are keeping track. This one is working. Now, you keep track of also what is not working. What is not working? Okay, I said that I would write in my journal every day, but I realized that I have been unable to write in my journal for 1 week. It doesn't help me, so I must catch up and make sure I'm doing it. It's called assessing yourself. Assessing yourself. So assess yourself. Identify, record, and consider what makes you happy, healthy, productive, and fulfilled. So what are the things that I do that prep me up? What are the things that I do that I get excited about? What are the things I do that I want to share with everybody? And what are the things I do that I don't get excited about? What are the things I do that dampen my spirit? What are the things I do that after some time I don't really want to do anymore? What are the things I do that I am not interested in sharing with people? Once you are tracking these, you are keeping records of these, it is easy for you to know that, okay, so this is how I should go on my life. This is what I should avoid. It makes it easier for you all the time. The next point says, if you remember, when we said harnessing your strength, we said ask people about your strengths. So the next point says, get feedback from those people you asked. Get feedback from those people you ask. I think I quoted, I think it's an Asante proverb I quoted last week. I said, what it simply means is the one that is cutting the path or fixing a path does not know that there's a crooked line behind him. It is those standing in the front or those standing behind them that will say that there's a crooked path and prompt him, if you know what, or prompt her. So always get feedback from people you trust. Ask them, am I doing this right? Is that something I should be correcting? Is that something that I should be doing differently? Help me. And that makes it better, you know. People help to chart your path. Get people who are really objective, who are really straightforward, who can tell you the truth, but they are telling the truth because they desire to make you better. So get answers from those people, get feedback from them, and use it to your advantage. The next point says, what are the things that make you happy, sad, or angry? Please, by all means, avoid those things that make you angry. Do avoid those things that make you sad, and make sure that you keep moving on with those things that make you happy. That's the whole point. So if something is going to make you angry, it's a weakness. If something is going to make you sad, it's a weakness. Why not focus on those things that just keep you happy, elated, joyful, so that you can go on with becoming a better version of yourself. Make a list, if you will. These are the things that make me excited. These are the things that make me sad and out of place. These are the things that upset me. You make a list of them, and then know how to treat each of them, know how to address each of them, know how to keep all of them in record. All right. You see, our moods, especially with the women, our moods have impacts on us. Even the mood people have has impact on us. If you entered your office and one of your colleagues said, "Are you all right?" You may be all right, but immediately that person asked, "Are you all right?" You realize that it dampens you. As compared to another colleague when you enter the office that said, "Hey, today is going to be a great day." And you realize that even when you were not having a great day, it makes you have a great day. Our moods affect everything we do. So make sure that you know what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, and stay within those parameters so that your weaknesses are not elevated, rather your strengths are. The next one says, write rules about yourself as if you are the king of the world, the queen of the world, and people must obey them. You are not pleased. You are not using it to go and impose on anybody. You are just trying to keep within a time frame, within a certain circumstance that allows you to be the best version of yourself, you know. So you can say that the first rule for myself is that I'm going to make sure every morning I pray for at least 30 minutes, you know, and make room for that, so that wherever you are, whatever it is you are doing, by the time you've gone round a bit, people automatically know that the first thing you do when you wake up is to pray for 30 minutes. Write rules for yourself that I'm not going to eat past a certain time. Make sure you keep to those rules. You see, it helps you to know what you're really feeling and thinking, and what makes sense to you and what does not make sense to you. You realize that if you can't, you can make them laws if rules don't work. Laws must be obeyed, and laws have rewards and consequences. So you can make yourself a lawgiver for yourself and decide that, okay, this law is for me. If I eat after 6, this is the consequence. If I'm able to stop eating by 6, this is the reward. It makes you assess yourself. It helps you to change your mindset, because after some time you've disciplined yourself so well to fit into those rules and laws you've made that you can become better and better at building your strengths, and better at keeping your weaknesses at bay, or at improving them to become strengths as well. Set a timer for 30 minutes and write down everything that comes to your mind at the moment. Anything that comes into your mind, write it down. You'll be surprised to know that some of the best singers we have will tell you that they were asleep and a song came to them. So they wake up and they record the song and go back to sleep. Because you can say that, oh, I'll remember in the morning. And believe me, by the time you get up in the morning, you don't even remember there was a song in your head. So make sure that every time an idea pops up, every time something comes to your mind, whatever it is, I could have done this way. I could have corrected this way. I could have been politer. I could have been more loving. Write it down. I'm making a conscious effort to be more polite. I'm making a conscious effort to be more respectful. I'm making a conscious effort to make sure that I do my exercise. Something, whatever it is, write it down. And you can decide to use 30 minutes of your day to do so, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever is good for you. Say that within these 30 minutes, I am not moving an inch until I've written everything that comes into my mind. I will not leave this place. So set a timer for 30 minutes, a week, a month, whatever makes you happy, a day, and write down whatever comes into your head, good, bad, you know, whatever idea it is. You'll be surprised to know that some of the ideas that look stupid were actually the ones that became powerful ideas. So whatever it is, write it down. Give yourself, like I said, give yourself time that works for you. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm sitting down to write this only. I sometimes have to do it with my notes. Sometimes my notes come in bits and pieces. But sometimes I can sit down and tell myself that if I don't finish the notes for Rainer Speaks, I am not moving. So sometimes I'm there for an hour, I'm there for 2 hours before I get up, because sometimes when you just leave that place, there's something waiting for you to be done and you can completely forget about it. So set a timer for yourself and write. What are the benefits of you identifying that I am weak in these spots? What are the benefits? You become knowledgeable about yourself and the issues you suffer from that have caused you to, for want of a better word, to lag in life. I remember meeting a young man who said that he wanted to get married. He was over 40, I think. And I asked him that, why does he think he's not getting married? And he said, oh, it's the women. I said, okay. Let's do an assessment. What do you think is your weakness? He says, I want everything where it is. When I put a chair here, it must remain there. I said, is this, let's assume you've had children. What happens to if they move the chair? No. Their mother must make sure that they don't move the chair from where I put it. I said, children. Say, yes, that's why she's there. So I said, will she be a housewife? He says, no. You see, it's a weakness to want everything to always stay. Melancholists may not understand what I am saying, but after you've had 1 or 2 children, you realize that this prem-pro thing you are doing, the children have no idea what's wrong with their mother, no idea what's wrong with their father. Why does mommy, daddy always want this thing in this place when we can just move it to this place and it will still be fine, you know? So that may be a problem. I realize I'm too prideful, I'm too insistent on my own way. I realize that I do not have room for flexibility. Once you begin to see what your weaknesses are, you realize that it makes you know yourself better. So it makes you understand why people are behaving this way towards you, and it makes you understand why you need to change it to become a better version of yourself. The other benefit of knowing your weakness is that it will make you wiser. It will make you wiser. It will help you to be able to separate your needs from your wants. As you are becoming wiser, you realize that, you see, COVID, I always say that COVID was the game changer. COVID came and we realized that we don't need money. We realized that we don't need to be outside every day. We realized that we didn't need our clothes. We had clothes, and most of us were walking around in pajamas. Or you just throw on some patapata and you are walking around. We had clothes in our rooms for 1 year we had never worn, and nothing happened to us. So you become wiser. You see what is a need and what is a want. If you've come out of COVID and you've not realized what is a need and a want, you may need your own second bout of COVID to let you understand what is better and what is not better. You were in the room so long that food, you didn't want to eat because you would not go anywhere with it, you see. And things we took for granted were now thriving. Exercise is taken for granted, it was now thriving. Knowing how to cook. You know, I don't know how to cook, I don't intend to cook, I'm not interested in learning how to cook. Knowing how to cook was now a thing, because you could not go to a restaurant, you could not go and sit elsewhere, we were restricted. People had to learn how to cook. I learned how to bake. At first, if I bake a cake, it is rock hard, you cannot eat it. If we use it to hit you, you will go to emergency ward right now. But now, by the grace of God, at least I can bake for my family. I mean, not large scale, please don't come for me. Just something small to eat. So we must, as you know your weaknesses, you tend to know what are needs and what are wants. Needs are what we actually want. Wants are just impulse buying. That's what I call them. Things you don't need, but you have them. Like women, 20 shoes. We wear 1 shoe, 3 weeks. We have forgotten the rest, but we still have them in the house. That's not a need. That's a want. Then the other thing is that as you know your weakness, you know what motivates you. So it makes it easier for you to put yourself in situations to be motivated. Let's say, let me give you an example. Okay, so for example, I'm a teacher. When I see children, I get excited. So if we were to go somewhere, and I was asked that, would I prefer to be with the adults, to teach adults, or to teach children? I may choose children because I know that I can do better there. And therefore, it motivates me to put out my best when I'm with the children as compared to the adults. So you know what motivates you, you know what doesn't motivate you, you know what's good for harnessing your strengths, you know what's bad for your weaknesses. You don't go there at all. And then the last point of what knowing your weakness does for you is that you get a clear understanding of who you are. It becomes easier to create plans when you are, okay, I want to buy a car. I know that my weakness is driving at top speed. So why will I go and get a car that goes 360? I want to go and kill myself. It is better for me to get a car that doesn't go as fast as I want to go. But because my weakness is, if I see that the speed limit is high, my leg will do me push, 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 and I'll go and kill myself. So I don't belong near a sports car. I believe myself too much that I won't die. It's a weakness. So I don't deserve I shouldn't buy a sports car. I should buy a car that maybe at most speed limit 200, 220, so that no matter how much I go, it is not a killing myself kind of a thing, if you know what I mean. So the last one is that it gives you a clear understanding of who you are. It gives you a clear understanding of the things that are for you and are not for you. It gives you a clear understanding of the people you should relate to and those you should not relate to. It gives you a clear understanding of your vision, your mission, how to achieve them, and what to do about them, what to take out, what to keep in. Once you know your weaknesses, you are able to harness your strengths to the best of your ability. Well, we've come to the end of another version of Raina Speaks, and you've been here listening to me blabber about harnessing your strengths. Thank you for always taking time off your busy schedules. Remember, you can always put your comments in the comment section or your questions in the comment section. We'll always come back to answer them, invite more people to the group. Don't forget to also watch and subscribe on YouTube, and don't forget to also check us out on Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for always being one of the best people on Raina Speaks. This year, our focus is to become the best version of ourselves. We are going to the top together. When you meet us by the end of the year, you will shake. You will say that, yay, we have become the best version of ourselves. God bless you, and see you same time, same place next week. Bye.
Like the deer's feet, and he will make me walk on higher mountains. A highway shall be there, and it shall be called the way of holiness. Hallelujah.